Hi coach, first question from ANI. The losing run ends but your team soaked in all the Hyderabad pressure. You must be proud of the way the team cooked up.
Yeah, no, the losing run ends absolutely, but we didn't soak up Hyderabad pressure. I think there's a couple of opportunities in the first half. Ranesh is a good save. I don't really recall any great opportunities they had in the second half. As a matter of fact, we were the team I felt had the best chances. Obviously with Stephen's header in the first half, probably could and should have put us in front. Farouk was a danger all night, that's why we brought him to the club. Farouk was outstanding and probably should have had a great chance to score late on. He had the one just whistled by the fullest in front. So if you talk about the best chances in the game, they fell to Jamshedpur. So yeah, we had to at times, because Hyderabad had a very good side, deal with their quality, which we dealt with. But I thought if anybody was going to win the game in the second half, it was going to be Jamshedpur. So yes, you're right, it's important. We stopped the run we were on, and we obviously felt that we probably did enough to win. That being said, it gives that point. We're still very much, I think, 4 points off the playoffs with 7 games to go. I was in a more vulnerable position last year, and we managed to do it. So we'll pick ourselves up and we'll go again, and that's what we'll do. Jamshedpur have never been in the playoffs. We want to try and change that. The way to do it is games tonight. When you draw, you get 3 points, and that's what we have to do moving forward.
The next question from goal.com. No goals in the last 3 games from Valskis, who has scored the most for your team. 1 goal by the club in last 3 games. Do you think there's a struggle in the final third? No,
at the end of the day, I mean, well, the reverse of that is we'd leaked a lot of goals prior to tonight, and we've had a clean sheet. So if you want to balance things, and that's all, I mean, statistics or whatever you want to make of them, you know, we conceded some goals soft in the last 3 games that we're not happy about. We've got a clean sheet tonight, but you're right, at the other end we could easily have scored goals. Valk's is just a wonderful player. Valk is sometimes now getting double marked because of his quality, but he brings so much to the team. He doesn't, I've said this before and I'll say it again, you know, people, with all due respect, look and they think, well, somebody's not scored a goal, they've not had a good game. Nothing can be further from the truth. Strikers play a role in your team without having to score goals. So that's the bit that, you know, a little bit of football education that people understand, but Farouk's just a wonderful player.
The next question is again about Farouk. Farouk slotted straight into the starting lineup. What kind of impact did you expect him to make?
Well, what I seen tonight, Farouk was, I probably thought maybe the best player in the field tonight. He was outstanding, as was Alex Lima. So we had a number of players like that, but yeah, I knew what Farouk would bring us. I was a big admirer last year, and that's why we brought him. And he's obviously got youth on his side. He's already 10 times capped for the national team. That tells you about his quality. He's a wonderful player. He had a few opportunities tonight to score, so he looks a real threat, and I worked with him on that as I did with Shonti last year. I mean, when I went into Chennai and Shonti hadn't scored the goal, he finished the top scorer from open play, top Indian goal scorer, and that's what, you know, I'm excited about working with Farouk. I thought Len did very well as well. Given that they've not played a lot of minutes, both boys really added a new threat to us, a new dimension, and I was delighted with how both done. And I think our fans watching that tonight should be very pleased with, you know, Farouk's introduction. He hadn't even trained with the players. He only came out of the, because of the when you change hotels, they need the negative test, and he only got cleared yesterday afternoon, so he hadn't trained, just straight in with the players. But he looked to have a good understanding with Valskis and Alex Lima, which bears well for moving on, as did Len. So we're really pleased with how the 2 boys did.
The next question is, does a mid-season move make it more difficult for you to make use of your players in the best way?
Does a mid-season move in regards of Farouk or Len?
Farouk and Len, yes.
Yeah, well, that's football. Football changes very quickly. Sometimes there's injuries, sometimes there's suspension, sometimes there's transfers. What you have to do is, you know, you hope that you've looked at those players and you know the qualities they have, and you think they can add to your group. But you're right, I think it's important if you can settle quickly. But I think both boys certainly will take a lot of confidence from that tonight. And again, you know, if there was other moves available, I would move again and transfer. I have no qualms in freshening this team up and getting us moving forward, because it's obviously we want to be in the fight for those top 4 places, but equally I want to plan to make sure that we have a better team, a faster team as we move forward, so that we have a competitive team every year for Jamshedpur that can fight for those top 4 spots.
Obviously, important saves once again by TP Dinesh. Based on the performance of your team, do you believe Jamshedpur deserve to win?
Yeah, I think the TP is a great save in the first half from Shane Hazy. I think went through it. He had another save from Nazi. I expected him to make anyway, which he did. Out with that, he had no more saves, because second half we were the team that was pushing on to win the game. Obviously, by doing that, Hyderabad are always dangerous in the counter attack. They've got some wonderful players, but we dealt with that really well. And I thought the goal was coming. I think we could have made better use of our set plays, but that's something we'll continue to work on. So over the pitch, yes, I thought if anybody was deserving of 3 points, it might have been ourselves, but maybe the neutrals will think that's always a fair result.
Last question. How do you assess Len Dungal's performance?
Yeah, I was very pleased with Len. I knew that he wouldn't last the 90 minutes because he's such few minutes. I had the same feeling actually for Farouk, but Farouk actually showing his fitness levels seemed to get stronger and stronger. So we obviously kept Farouk on and he did very well, nearly won it in the last minute. So no, I was delighted with Len. It gives Len an opportunity to come and show everybody his quality. I certainly know it. And it shows, the thing as well I like about him tonight is he's shown he's a real team player. So I was delighted with both Len Dungal and both Farouk.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. All the best for the rest of the season.
Pleasure, thank you very much.